this is a best practice about, tracking the velocity of your SKUs, right? It's very, very important to know as a, DC manager, as a director of your DC, as a, supply chain, inventory manager of your supply chain, you got to know what are my A SKUs, what are my B SKUs, what are my C SKUs, right? And the A SKUs are the fastest moving SKUs. And the B SKUs are the, moderately moving SKUs, and C SKUs are the slow moving SKUs, right? So it's very, very important that you know that, because the last thing you want is you slot your A SKUs all the way far at the back of the DC, and then people are walking more, right? That's why it's very important to know your fast moving SKUs. And again, there might be even A plus SKUs, right? There are even more fast moving, and that could be a seasonal phenomenon, that happens only during the peak or holiday season, where someone is ordering this specific SKU, a very popular toy or a very popular gift item for all their, friends and family, right? I mean, recently we had a customer that went live, and there was a Rachel Ray's EVOO bottle was one of the fast moving SKUs, and so when you know that this SKU is a fast moving SKU, then you stay on top of it, right? Hey, I gotta make sure the POs are in place to get those SKUs or manufacture those SKUs, so you have that product in the DC all the time, so you're never running out of that SKU, right? And the last thing any retailer, any distributor, anybody, as a business, you want is a dissatisfied customer who came to buy it and they weren't able to buy it and they went somewhere else and bought it, or because of the bad experience, you lost a customer, for rest of their life. So, that's why it's very important to stay on top of these SKUs, and it's very easy to, determine that, right? Either you could set up your WMS to automatically track it. The WMSs have the ability to track it, or all you have to do is take your, sales history, SKU quantity. That's it. It's very simple, right? Create a spreadsheet and then do a descending sort. You'll be able to see, wow, these are my SKUs that I sold the most. And then these are my SKUs I sold the least. So you can, A, B, C, you can categorize. And then again, if you run the same report for a peak season, you can figure out easily, hey, these are my A SKUs, or there might be some A plus SKUs, and there might be D SKUs as well. And also, have some kind of an aging report. What is sitting in your supply chain for a long time without moving, right? So, that information is very, very vital. Once you know, hey, these are my A SKUs, these are my B SKUs, these are my C SKUs, have your inventory manager. Obviously there's an inventory manager that's making sure, hey, my inventory is in sync, and, between the host and between the, ERP and between the WMS, and within the WMS, here are my different inventory buckets, and here's where my inventory is, here's where it's sitting, and all kinds of things, right? So the inventory manager basically makes sure, cycle counting is done correctly. So your inventory count is clearly visible, and especially from an auditing perspective, you have to know whatever inventory that you have in your DC needs to be accurately reflected in books, because only then the quarterly financials can be accurate, and also the yearly financials can be accurately released. So and also the last thing you want is some SKU sitting there without selling for a long time, and you have to find that. It could be like EF SKUs, right? That's not at all moving for whatever reason. So you have to stay on top of this, and the other important thing to keep in mind is once you figure out this A, B, and C, you got to get your slotting optimized. That means you don't want your people walking a lot of distance for your A SKUs. That doesn't make any sense. So the A SKU need to be slotted close to the packing station or closer to where the shipping process is performed, whereas the D and the E could be farther away, because you don't want people walking. Those SKUs sell less, so people are going to walk less distance when the SKUs are slotted all the way there. But imagine the A SKU slotted there, and they're working a lot, right? That's the last thing you want. And have a slotting optimization plan, right? We'll talk about it as a separate topic. That's something to keep in mind. Have a good slotting program in place, right? So it's very, very important to pay attention to this A, B, and C SKUs. So when it's moving fast, and have again, replenishments ready for these A SKUs, it's moving fast, and hey, these are the bin locations that are going to run out of inventory pretty fast. So the replenishers can keep an eye on those as well. Hey, I know this aisle is full of A SKUs, and I got to stay on top of this. And even you could dedicate a replenisher. If you have multiple replenishers, you could dedicate a replenisher for that aisle, and have that proactively get the replenishments done in a proactive manner. So you never run out of inventory for those SKU, for those bin locations, right? And again, you can even dedicate, you could, I mean, imagine if the AA plus SKUs, right? In during the peak period, you're this one popular gift or popular toy that became so popular, and you could temporarily, have a really big location that would, be right next to the packing station, very close to the, where the carton is getting packed. You could have that there, and so that way, people are not working so much, and all this, especially if you have singles orders where people are just buying this one item in a lot of orders, you could fulfill those in bulk as well. So, that's why it's important to pay attention to this A, B, and C SKUs. And it's important to have your inventory manager stay on top of this. At any point of time, you call them and ask them for a report. They got to be able to tell, hey, these are my A SKUs, these are my B SKUs, these are my C SKUs. And A SKUs, I'm doing great. I got replenishments ready in place, and I got, locations fully replenished so people can pick without waiting. Similar for B and, C, I'm not too worried, but I know I'm tracking them, right? So this is something to think about in order to optimize your facility throughput. And please share your thoughts and let us know your comments. And thank you for taking the time to watch this video. And of course, check out all the other best practices that we have in our YouTube channel. And would hopefully this is helpful. And thank you.